Hey, what's going on there, everybody? This is Sammy Leggy here representing Team JVS. Here you guys, another movie review. This movie is called September the 5th. This is based on the actual accounted events of September 5th, 1972 that was taking place during the Munich Olympics, where the first live broadcast viewing of actual terrorism took place. This is an amazing cast, an amazing director in Tim Fablam. You got Peter Skarsgård, in his own right is amazing. He's the person that runs the ABC during the events of this, playing the role of Roan. John Margaro, past lives, he was amazing in that. You got Benjamin Walker, if you've seen the new Lord of the Rings show, he's really good in that. But believe it or not, you also got Jim McKay and Peter Jennings that are also in this, because the way that they handle this, they use the actual accounted events, the actual broadcasts, and the actual video and audio of those two individuals, and they interweave the communications between the team that is trying to report what is happening while the Olympics is going on and the actual terrorism that's being taken place. And again, this is surrounding events that are happening in Germany, but it involves the lives of about 11 Israeli Olympians. And this is a really hard one. But this is one of the best thrillers this year, to be honest with you. It's about an hour and 35 minutes roughly. When John's character Jeffrey kind of comes onto the scene, he's given a break. Like, this is his first real run of the news floor, because like, okay, like, you're gonna be the one that's gonna run point with what camera needs to go to what, when we're doing segments, when we're doing this. And the thing about this that's so amazing and tragic all at the same time, there are so many different elevations and innovations to what we know as normal broadcasting now that I just didn't anticipate. Like, there's a moment in the film that all the different other broadcast locations were trying to report in about what was going on, and they had this idea of like superimposing the logo of ABC, basically creating a watermark, what we know to be a watermark today. There's a moment in the film where somebody is trying to make a conversation through a radio wave, and then also trying to get that live on the air. How do you actually do that? That hadn't been created yet. You have people like Hank Henson, played by Corey Johnson, that had to create something like that. There were situations where, from a reporting standpoint, they were close enough to try to see what was happening, but then they had to get the footage they needed to cue it up in time enough to be able to see if they could broadcast, because they didn't want to live broadcast something that's going on. So they have multiple different, the technology and the innovation of how they had to make things work was insane. And at the front of it is John's character trying to navigate all of it. Now, Ben Chaplin, plays the role of Marvin. Marvin was the person that's really his upperclassman that kind of runs the place, even though Peter Skarsgård is kind of owns the place. And Ben and John have great chemistry because they're butting heads and they're trying to navigate what's actually going on. But then at the end of the day, they only got one person there that actually can like speak German and understand it. And that was played by Georgina Rich's character, Gladys. And Gladys, she's trying to navigate her emotions through all of this happening, because this is kind of like, this is a repeat of what could happen all over again. And so the way that they kind of handle a lot of the editing and a lot of the positioning, like the creative side of what it takes to do the journalism that they had to do for this, is so well done. It's so well executed. The only film that I've seen this year that kind of came close to that was Saturday Night. Which basically depicting the first night of Saturday Night Live. The different things that they had to kind of do and shuffle up to try to make that actually work within that confined amount of time was very impressive, because they went through every single inkling of what that looks like. With this, from a reporting standpoint, from a news standpoint, we know what way the news kind of is facilitated. But imagine you don't have like an editor. Imagine you don't have a green screen. Maybe you don't have like something that's like, and on top of that, the way that this is already done, their focus at the time, ABC was only supposed to report only on the Olympics, only on the sports. That was it. That's what ABC was supposed to be doing. They weren't supposed to put themselves in a situation to report on life or death scenario like this because it's unprecedented. At the time of this was being done in real time, I think it's over 900 million people that were actually watching the broadcast as it was unfolding. So the way that they structured it, the way it was edited, the way it was designed, as far as the film is concerned, is just masterful. Like, I give them all the credit for how they scripted this, how they edited this, even the set design, the recreation of how they do it. But the impressive thing about this, they make these interactions, specifically with the way that they're acting along with the script, seem as though this is actually happening. And I think that it was a great, it's a great but morbid choice of using the actual archive footage of these actual reporters and journalists and weaving them in with these actors that have to go and run through the gambit of these communications. It's just so well done. It seems so seamless. And as far as performance-wise, John and Peter and Ben, their performances are so good. I think Georgina does a really good job as well, but specifically with John, you're going through so much thinking about how he's internalizing the ethics behind this. And I think that's one of the things that's really interesting about this film is the ethics of journalism. What is etiquette journalism? Like, is it following the story to all the way to completion? Is it following the story up until a point that it compromises the sanctity or the safety of other people? Or is it, telling the narrative that makes sense to protect? And I think that there's so many different levels of those dynamics that are just interwoven and handled really well in this, that I was really impressed by September 5th. This is a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I actually really enjoyed this and definitely going to recommend other people to go and check it out, especially the fact that this actually happened. And it was harsh. Even though they don't necessarily show any gore or anything like that, the way that things are set up and the way that things happen, it feels real. It feels so real. And even though you're talking about moments where people do get affected or traumatized, lose their life over, like, it's I don't know, it just feels really organic in the most impressive way, as sad as it is. But definitely go and check it out September 5th when you get a chance. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, people.